Success is never an accident. It is the inevitable result of deliberate habits, habits born from desire, sustained by faith, and achieved through persistent action. If you wish to attract success, you must first become the kind of person success is drawn to. In this message, I will share with you the foundational winning habits that build the character, discipline, and mindset required to command success. Not merely chase it. Definitiveness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Without it, even the most gifted individuals wander aimlessly, wasting energy, time, and potential on pursuits that never align with their true calling. It is the foundation upon which all other success principles are built. When a person establishes a clear, unwavering aim in life, they send a powerful signal to their subconscious mind, their surroundings, and even the universe itself. This signal begins to organize thoughts, habits, circumstances, and opportunities in alignment with that objective. Many people drift through life without ever deciding what they truly want. They react to circumstances rather than shaping them. They chase fleeting desires influenced by others' expectations, societal trends, or fear of missing out. But those who succeed, truly succeed, are those who take the time to sit with themselves, search within, and define what they are willing to devote their life to. A definite purpose is not just a goal, it is a mission. It is a burning desire that energizes you, wakes you up in the morning, and keeps you going long after others have given up. When definiteness of purpose takes root in a person's mind, it begins to shape their character. Decisions become easier because there is a clear standard against which all choices are measured. Does this bring me closer to my purpose or not? Distractions lose their grip, the noise of the world begins to fade, and clarity takes its place. The person with a definite major purpose becomes a force of nature, focused, disciplined, and magnetic. One of the greatest secrets of successful people is that they are not always more talented or more intelligent than others. They are just more focused. They are obsessed with their purpose, and they organize their entire life around it. They don't entertain ideas or people that do not serve their mission. Their environment reflects their commitment. Their time is invested, not spent. Their mind is fixed on the destination, and their actions are deliberate steps toward it. Definiteness of purpose also instills confidence. When you know where you're going, you carry yourself differently. You speak with more authority, act with more courage, and persevere with more resilience. People notice this. They respond to it. Opportunities seem to appear more often, not because of luck, but because a focused mind becomes a magnet for the very things it seeks. The universe responds to the one who knows what they want and pursues it with intensity. It is essential to understand that having a definite purpose does not mean having a rigid path. The road to success is filled with detours, setbacks, and surprises. But the person with a clear purpose is not easily shaken. They adapt, but never lose sight of the vision. They can change methods, adjust timelines, and overcome obstacles, but the end goal remains constant. Like a ship with a compass, they may be tossed by the waves, but they never lose direction. Definitiveness of purpose also eliminates confusion and indecision. The greatest thief of time and potential is hesitation. People who lack purpose often spend their energy weighing options, seeking approval, or waiting for perfect conditions. But those who know what they want move forward, even if the path isn't perfect. They are not paralyzed by fear because their desire is stronger than their doubt. This forward motion builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Another power of definiteness lies in its ability to create discipline. When your goal becomes your obsession, you begin to make sacrifices willingly. You trade temporary pleasures for long-term rewards. You build habits that support your mission, and you drop the ones that hold you back. Discipline becomes less of a chore and more of a commitment to your future self. With each step forward, your purpose grows stronger, and so does your resolve. Furthermore, definiteness of purpose ignites the imagination. Once your mind is set on a goal, it begins to generate ideas, solutions, and creative paths that were invisible before. Your subconscious mind, working around the clock, begins to notice patterns, recall useful knowledge, and push you toward new connections. What once seemed impossible now feels inevitable, not because the world changed, but because your mind did. Without a clear purpose, even hard work can be wasted, but with it, every action takes on meaning. Even the smallest effort, when aligned with a larger purpose, becomes powerful. You begin to live intentionally, choosing what to do, how to think, and who to become. Your life stops being a reaction and starts becoming a creation. You are no longer at the mercy of chance. You become the master of your fate. Faith backed by action is the bridge between belief and reality. It is not enough to merely hope for success or imagine a better life. One must have absolute faith in the possibility of achieving it, and then take decisive, consistent steps toward it. This type of faith is not blind. It is rooted in understanding the power of the human mind and the infinite potential within every individual to shape their own destiny. When faith is paired with action, it transforms dreams into goals and goals into tangible outcomes. True faith is a state of mind. It is a conviction so strong that it resists fear, doubt, and discouragement. It allows a person to see opportunities where others see limitations, to keep moving forward when the path is uncertain, and to maintain confidence even in the absence of immediate results. But faith alone without movement becomes idle hope. It is the act of moving forward, sometimes slowly, sometimes boldly, that proves and strengthens belief. Every step taken in alignment with one's purpose reaffirms the belief that the destination is not only possible, but inevitable. Action fueled by faith carries a different energy. It is purposeful, focused, and unwavering. It does not demand guarantees or perfect conditions. It trusts that every effort contributes to a greater outcome, even if the results are not immediately visible. This kind of action is persistent and creative. It finds a way when the door seems shut. It adapts when faced with obstacles. It does not surrender to temporary defeat because it understands that setbacks are part of the journey, not the end of it. Faith must be planted first in the mind, but it is confirmed through behavior. The way a person speaks, the way they carry themselves, the decisions they make, all reflect the strength or weakness of their faith. A person with faith backed by action is not ruled by hesitation. They do not wait to feel ready or rely on perfect timing. They move forward because they trust in their ability to figure things out along the way. This trust becomes a habit, and over time it builds an unshakable confidence. Many people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they hesitate. They doubt themselves, second-guess their ideas, and wait for signs that may never come. But those who achieve greatness do not wait, they act. They may not have all the answers, but they understand that clarity comes through movement. Each action they take brings new insight, new connections, and new momentum. This is how faith works. It opens doors only when you knock. One of the most remarkable aspects of faith backed by action is its ability to inspire others. When people see someone moving forward with conviction regardless of the odds, they feel drawn to that energy. Support shows up, resources appear, collaborators offer their help. This is not coincidence. It is the natural response to seeing someone live with purpose and belief. Faith is contagious, especially when it is demonstrated through consistent, visible effort. Faith also gives birth to resilience. It becomes the anchor during storms. It holds a person steady when everything seems to be falling apart. Because when action is driven by faith, setbacks are not seen as signs to quit. They are seen as lessons, redirections, or moments of preparation. This mindset allows a person to persist longer than most, to endure discomfort and uncertainty, and to keep their eyes on the vision even when the world around them seems to offer nothing but resistance. The relationship between faith and action is one of cause and effect. Action proves faith, and faith powers action. They cannot be separated if success is to be achieved. Those who dream but do not act live in fantasy. Those who act without belief burn out quickly. But those who combine both, who believe deeply and move boldly, create unstoppable momentum. They align their mind and body, their vision and behavior, and as a result, they begin to bend reality in the direction of their will. Mastery of self-discipline is one of the most crucial habits that separates those who wish for success from those who achieve it. It is the ability to control one's emotions, desires, and impulses in service of a greater goal. Self-discipline means doing what must be done whether you feel like it or not, because the outcome matters more than the temporary discomfort. It is a quiet strength, a personal power that reveals itself not in bursts of motivation, but in the consistency of daily effort. Every person faces moments of temptation, distractions that seem more appealing than the work at hand, comforts that delay progress, and emotions that try to steer them off course. The difference between failure and success often lies in how one responds to those moments. The disciplined individual recognizes that short-term gratification is often the enemy of long-term achievement. They have trained themselves to delay pleasure in order to build something lasting, something meaningful. Self-discipline is not about being harsh or rigid. It is about being committed. It means keeping your word to yourself, showing up even when it's hard, and staying the course when the excitement fades. It's waking up early to pursue your vision. It's saying no to distractions that steal your time. It's continuing to push forward even when progress feels invisible. This habit builds trust in yourself. When you consistently follow through, you begin to believe in your own power. You prove to yourself that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of results. Growth people are controlled by their moods and environment. If they feel inspired, they take action. If things are easy, they keep going. But those who master self-discipline act regardless of how they feel. They set a standard for themselves and refuse to negotiate with excuses. They understand that success is not based on fleeting motivation, but on habits. Habits that are developed one decision at a time. Each Disciplined act strengthens the mind, reinforces purpose, and inches a person closer to their goal. One of the greatest advantages of self-discipline is that it creates freedom. While it may seem paradoxical, the person who practices discipline gains more control over their life. They are not at the mercy of external forces. They are not pulled in every direction. They choose their path with intention, and they walk it with resolve. Over time, discipline becomes second nature, and the once difficult choices become automatic responses. Self-discipline also builds resilience. It teaches a person to endure discomfort, to keep moving when things get tough, and to stay focused in the face of adversity. It's what keeps the entrepreneur working late after everyone else has gone home. It's what keeps the athlete training when no one is watching. It's what drives the student to study when others are partying. This resilience compounds over time, forming an inner strength that few can rival. Without self-discipline, talent is wasted, plans remain unfinished, and goals remain out of reach. But with it, even the most ordinary individual can accomplish extraordinary things. Persistence in the face of failure is one of the greatest habits a person can develop on the journey to success. It is the refusal to quit, the decision to keep moving forward even when the odds seem overwhelming and the results are nowhere in sight. Persistence is not a matter of luck or timing. It is a conscious choice to continue despite opposition, setbacks, or discouragement. It is born from a deep commitment to a definite purpose and fueled by an unwavering belief that the goal is worth the struggle. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has encountered failure, not once, but repeatedly. The road to success is littered with broken dreams, abandoned efforts, and countless moments of doubt. But those who reach their destination are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They understand that every setback carries within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. They don't run from failure, they learn from it, adjust their approach, and keep going. This is the essence of persistence. It is not perfection, but progress through resistance. Persistence is the habit of action. When things go wrong, when doors close, when others give up, the persistent person finds another way. They knock again, climb through windows, build new paths, or keep trying until something gives. Their determination is stronger than the obstacles. They are not looking for easy, they are looking for results, and they are willing to endure whatever is necessary to get there. What many people call failure is simply feedback. It is life's way of refining your strategy, testing your commitment, and preparing you for the responsibility that comes with success. Without persistence, these lessons are lost. But with persistence, they become stepping stones. Each failure becomes a building block that strengthens character, improves skill, and sharpens focus. The more a person persists, the more they grow, and the more capable they become of handling success when it arrives. The danger in giving up is that it becomes a habit. Each time a person quits in the face of difficulty, they reinforce the idea that quitting is acceptable. Over time, their tolerance for discomfort weakens and their belief in their own ability fades. On the other hand, each time a person persists, especially when it's hard, they build mental toughness. They prove to themselves that they can endure. And once that belief takes root, it becomes incredibly difficult to break. Persistence also teaches patience. Success rarely happens overnight. It requires sustained effort over time. The world may try to convince you that if it doesn't happen quickly, it's not meant for you. But those who persist know better. They understand that some goals take months, years, even decades to achieve, and they are willing to invest that time. They are not fooled by temporary failure because they have their eyes on the long game. They trust the process and they honor the journey. One of the most powerful truths about persistence is that it doesn't always require massive leaps forward. Sometimes it's simply the willingness to show up again and again. It's writing one more page, making one more call, trying one more approach. These small, consistent actions compound over time, and what once seemed impossible slowly becomes inevitable. The persistent person may not always be the fastest or the smartest, but they are the one who is still standing when others have walked away. When others doubt, the persistent remain focused. When support disappears, they continue. When progress stalls, they push a little harder. They don't wait for motivation, they rely on commitment. They are driven not by how they feel in the moment, but by what they believe is possible in the future, and that belief, backed by relentless action, becomes an unstoppable force. Many of history's greatest success stories are tales of persistence. Individuals who failed hundreds of times, lost everything, were rejected repeatedly, or told they weren't good enough, but they kept going. Their success wasn't a result of genius or privilege. It was a product of grit. They made a decision that no matter how long it took, no matter how many times they had to try, they would not stop until they succeeded. Persistence builds confidence because it proves your resilience. The more you endure, the more you realize that failure cannot stop you unless you let it. This kind of confidence is not loud or boastful, it's quiet, steady, and unshakable. It comes from having faced hardship and continued anyway. And once you know you can survive failure, you become fearless in your pursuit of success. A positive mental attitude is one of the most powerful assets a person can cultivate in their pursuit of success. It is the lens through which every challenge, opportunity, and experience is filtered. When the mind is dominated by optimism, hope, and a belief in one's ability to overcome, it naturally attracts the ideas, people, and circumstances that support growth. A positive mental attitude doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means facing reality with the confidence that you have the strength, wisdom, and creativity to shape a better outcome. The thoughts a person chooses to dwell on shape their emotional state, influence their behavior, and ultimately determine the quality of their life. A mind filled with fear, doubt, and negativity cannot produce success because it constantly anticipates failure and attracts discouragement. On the other hand, a mind trained to look for solutions, to expect progress, and to find meaning in adversity becomes a powerful magnet for achievement. This is not just philosophy. It is psychology and it is practice. The dominant thoughts in the mind set the tone for the results we experience. A positive mental attitude fuels resilience. When life delivers setbacks, the person with this mindset doesn't crumble. They recalibrate. They ask better questions. They look for the lesson. They choose not to see obstacles as dead ends, but as detours, as hidden opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. Even in the darkest times, they hold on to the belief that something good can come from the struggle. This belief alone can be the difference between giving up and pushing forward. It keeps the fire of hope alive when everything else feels uncertain. People with a positive mental attitude carry a certain energy. It's contagious. It uplifts those around them. They are not just reacting to life, they are influencing it. Their presence becomes a source of encouragement. Their words spark possibility. Their perspective shifts the mood in the room. This kind of energy opens doors, invites collaboration, and builds strong, lasting relationships. People want to work with those who radiate confidence and positivity, not because they're naive, but because they bring clarity and courage into every situation. One of the keys to developing a positive mental attitude is taking responsibility for your internal dialogue. The mind is constantly speaking, and if left unchecked, it will often default to fear or self-criticism. But when you consciously choose to speak to yourself with belief, with affirmation, with compassion, you begin to rewire the way you see the world. You begin to expect success rather than anticipate failure. You see yourself as capable rather than lacking. This internal shift transforms the way you act, and action rooted in confidence always yields better results. Another important element is the willingness to direct your focus. A person with a positive mental attitude does not deny the existence of problems, but they refuse to dwell on what they cannot control. Instead, they focus their attention on what they can do, what they can build, what they can learn, and where they can move forward. This disciplined focus allows them to stay productive even in the midst of uncertainty. They are not victims of circumstance, they are creators of response. Gratitude also plays a crucial role in maintaining a positive mindset. When you make it a habit to recognize the good, no matter how small, you begin to shift your emotional state. You become less reactive and more grounded. Gratitude reframes setbacks, reminding you of your strength and progress rather than only your pain. It reminds you that even in struggle, there is still something to be thankful for. And from that place of thankfulness, courage grows. A positive mental attitude is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. It must be renewed each morning and protected throughout the day. Negative influences are everywhere. News, conversations, failures, disappointments. But the person who is committed to success chooses their input carefully. They read things that inspire. They listen to voices that uplift. They guard their mind the way a warrior guards a fortress, because they know that what enters the mind ultimately shapes the future. This attitude, once fully developed, becomes a superpower. It makes a person nearly impossible to defeat, because no matter how many times they fall, they rise again, stronger, wiser, more determined. They don't ask if success is possible, they act as though it is inevitable. Their faith in the outcome fuels their consistency, and their consistency produces results. Over time, they prove that mindset is not just important, it is everything. Surrounding yourself with the right environment is one of the most overlooked but critical habits that contribute to lasting success. The people you associate with, the conversations you entertain, the energy you absorb, and even the physical spaces you inhabit all have a profound effect on your mindset, your beliefs, and your actions. Success does not happen in isolation. It is cultivated in an environment that nurtures growth, encourages excellence, and holds you accountable to your highest potential. The right environment acts like fertile soil for your ambitions. Just as a seed cannot grow in barren ground, your dreams will struggle to thrive in a toxic atmosphere. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, laziness, or small thinking, your own motivation will begin to erode. Even the most determined individual will find their willpower weakening if they are immersed in a setting that contradicts their goals. On the other hand, when you position yourself among those who believe in possibility, who chase their own vision, who speak the language of growth and resilience, your energy naturally rises to match that standard. Your environment is not just about physical surroundings. It is primarily about influence. Every person you spend time with leaves an imprint on your thinking. Their values, habits, and emotional patterns become part of your internal dialogue. If they constantly complain, you begin to internalize a sense of limitation. If they gossip, your focus drifts toward criticism instead of creativity. But if you are in the company of doers, dreamers, and disciplined minds, you begin to absorb their mindset, their belief in action, their willingness to work, their commitment to progress. They all begin to shape the way you move through the world. Many people underestimate how much of their struggle comes not from lack of ability, but from being in the wrong company. It is not weakness to walk away from environments that stifle your growth. It is wisdom. Protecting your vision means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, who dismiss your ambitions, who see only problems and never solutions. This does not mean you judge them, but it does mean you value your future enough to be selective about who gets access to your mind. The most successful people are intentional about their surroundings. They choose to engage with mentors, peers, and communities that challenge them to rise higher. They seek feedback from those who have walked the path before them. They invest in environments that support their goals. Whether that means a workspace that sparks creativity, a mastermind group that pushes for results, or simply a circle of friends who support personal development. They do not leave their environment to chance because they understand that every environment either sharpens your edge or dulls it. One of the most powerful actions you can take is to design your environment to reflect the future you are building. That includes the books you read, the content you consume, the habits you reinforce through repetition. When your physical space is organized, your mind becomes clearer. When your digital space is free from clutter and distraction, your focus improves. When your schedule reflects your priorities, your productivity increases. These are not grand gestures, but small, consistent choices that create a powerful ecosystem for success. Energy is also contagious. Spend enough time around people who are passionate, disciplined, and solution-oriented, and you will find yourself operating on a higher frequency. You will then receive a more powerful frequency. Their momentum will become yours. Their habits will rub off. Their standard of excellence will stretch your own. This is why athletes train together, why entrepreneurs form alliances, why creatives gather in circles of collaboration. The right environment does not compete with your potential, it amplifies it. But creating this kind of environment requires courage. It may mean letting go of old relationships that no longer serve your purpose. It may mean stepping out of familiar places that feel comfortable but stagnant. It may even mean enduring periods of solitude while you seek out a higher circle. But this discomfort is temporary compared to the long-term cost of staying in environments that suffocate your dreams. Building an empowering environment also means becoming the kind of person who adds value to others. You attract what you are. When you bring optimism, discipline, and encouragement into your surroundings, you create a magnet for others who live the same way. The environment you seek to find is often the one you must first commit to becoming. Be the example, and the right people will gravitate toward you. Be the standard, and others will rise to meet it.